Archangel Gabriel says God just tore the contract that kept you bound for years, but the devil is trying to staple it back. Open this in the next 31 seconds to set the pieces on fire forever. My child, hear me. The heavens have moved on your behalf. God Himself has torn the contract that bound you for years, and its fragments are scattered in the light that now fills your space. Can you feel it? The old chains, invisible but heavy, have begun to shatter. Faint echoes of their breaking ripple through your spirit like thunder, soft yet undeniable. I am here, beloved, hovering close, my wings brushing the air with energy that crackles like lightning yet warms you like the sun. Shadows that lingered in the corners of your life shiver as if startled by a sudden, holy fire. This moment, precious soul, is more than liberation, it is a reckoning of time itself. Watch closely, for every fragment of that contract contains the years of fear, doubt, and suppression, and yet they disintegrate before your very eyes. The air is thick with divine light, shimmering like molten gold, and you may notice the faint scent of incense, though nothing has been lit. Know, my child, that this is no accident, no passing mercy. God Himself has intervened, and the world trembles in witness, unseen by those who do not believe. And yet, beware, for the enemy has not vanished. The devil has noticed, and he seethes as he watches the pieces burn. Beloved, look closer, and feel the energy shift. Where there was weight, there is now buoyancy. Where there was darkness, there is now brilliance that hums against your skin and vibrates through your chest. The fragments of the contract curl in the light as if recoiling from the holiness surrounding you. Listen carefully. Do you hear the faint snap of invisible chains, one by one, releasing their grip on your heart, your mind, your spirit? That sound is freedom, my child, though it carries a warning. The devil is cunning, he does not retreat easily. He watches, waits, and seeks the exact moment to repair what has been torn. But his strength wanes in the presence of God's light. The warmth you feel, do not underestimate it, it is a shield, an invisible armor of faith and divine protection. My child of light, even now I am teaching you to see what others cannot, the power that surrounds you, the authority you have to claim your own life back. Do not panic if fear wells up, for it is natural when the chains of oppression fall after so long. Your spirit may tremble, your mind may race, yet this trembling is the herald of awakening, the trembling before the wings of destiny unfold. And yet, the devil lurks, clever and patient. Precious soul, I must speak plainly, the room around you is alive. Can you sense the shifting currents of energy? The warmth now grows intense, and fragments of paper-like contracts float briefly, glowing before turning to ash. The shadows of doubt that long stalked your steps are fleeing, curling away from the brilliance that God has cast over you. You are not imagining the trembling light, the soft crackle that dances across the floor, the sudden heat that rises like a tide of mercy. This is real, my child, and it is only the beginning. I see the tension in your body, the rise of awe and fear intertwined. Know that they are signs of your spirit remembering its purpose, its destiny untangled from years of confinement. But do not linger in hesitation, every heartbeat now carries urgency. The devil, though invisible, begins his subtle work. He senses the liberation, and his anger manifests in fleeting shadows and whispers you may almost feel but not fully understand. Yet fear not, for I am here, and I will instruct you. Focus on the light, my child, follow it with your soul, and do not allow the tremors of old fear to root themselves again. The fragments of the contract burn, but the enemy's cunning eyes seek to gather the ashes, to reconstruct the chains, piece by fragile piece. My child of light, the weight has lifted, yet the air vibrates with tension. You are standing at a threshold, one foot in bondage and one in freedom. The warmth now swells, and your chest feels as though it expands with air not just for your lungs but for your spirit. The echoes of broken chains resonate like a hymn, reminding you that no earthly tie, no demonic contract, can withstand the command of God. Look to the corners of your room, for the shadows twist and recoil in the presence of this light. Even now, fragments drift and vanish, igniting small flames that smell faintly of holy fire. The devil has begun to test your courage, precious soul, whispering doubts that creep like smoke under the door of your consciousness. But remember this, each fragment that falls is an opportunity, each flicker of fear a signal to turn fully toward divine protection. Feel the energy around you, the crackling of sacred electricity that hums across your skin. The liberation is profound, but vigilance is essential. Do not underestimate the devil's craft. He is clever, relentless, and desperate. He wants to staple the contract back together, to restore the chains that God has torn. And yet, his attempts, though sinister, are powerless against the fervor of heaven. Beloved, my child, listen closely. The devil is not idle, and he seeks to staple it back. Can you feel the tug, the subtle attempt to reattach the fragments of your soul's bondage? He waits for hesitation, for even a second of doubt to anchor his power. Your courage now is the most potent shield, the final spark to ignite freedom fully. The warmth you feel is your armor, the light that dances in the corners is your ally. Precious soul, the fragments will try to adhere again if you falter, and yet, the hand of God has intervened, tearing them with authority no darkness can undo. I am here with you, guiding, urging, protecting. But the test is near, and what happens next will challenge everything you have believed about yourself and your destiny. Remember, these chains, though torn, can only stay destroyed if you rise to meet the next wave. My child, your liberation is at a precipice, and the devil's claws reach out, waiting for hesitation. What happens next will test your courage, my child. Now you must remain vigilant. The devil is clever, his interference is subtle, almost imperceptible. Do you feel the sudden chill on your skin, the shiver that has no earthly cause? That is him, moving, whispering, seeking to shake your focus and sway your heart. Papers flutter around you, though no breeze exists, shadows flicker and bend, attempting to confuse your senses. Listen carefully to the faint, scornful laughter echoing in the corners of your awareness. It is his attempt to intimidate, to remind you of old fear. But you, my child of light, are stronger now. Your connection to the divine has been awakened. Stand firm and observe, each act of interference is temporary, powerless in the face of heaven's protection. Do not reach for the fragments of fear he leaves behind. Instead, gather the courage that already dwells within you. Every second matters, precious soul, for the devil knows that hesitation gives him foothold, yet he cannot prevail where God has spoken. The warmth that surrounds you is a shield, let it fill every fiber of your being. And remember, my child, he will escalate, and the next moments will demand awareness and swift action. Beloved, Do not be alarmed if the lights flicker or shadows stretch unnaturally. These are the devil's faint manipulations, attempts to unsettle your focus and lure you into doubt. He cannot touch your spirit, but he can tempt your mind to forget the victory that God has granted. Look to the golden light now forming around you. It is not an illusion. It is heaven's signature on your liberation. Feel its hum vibrating through your chest, a constant reminder that divine authority protects you. The whispers may grow, my child, but they are hollow, lacking the power to bind you. Each fluttering paper, each moving shadow is a test, a call to remember that the world you inhabit contains both light and darkness, but you are no longer powerless. Resist the pull of fear, and focus on the presence I bring. I am near, my child, guiding your steps through this subtle storm. Trust that the fragments of the contract are weak and burning, and only your hesitation can give them strength again. Precious soul, know that the devil works in moments unseen, stretching shadows across your perception and weaving tension where once there was peace. The cold that brushes your skin, the whispering just beyond hearing, these are his tools, and yet they cannot pierce the divine shield forming around you. Your vigilance now is sacred work. Each breath of awareness strengthens the protection, each heartbeat a drum of defiance against his schemes. The room is alive with celestial energy, light shimmering along walls, glimmering in corners where shadows attempt to linger. Focus on that radiance, my child. Let it anchor your spirit and drown out the fear the enemy wishes to plant. You may notice the fragments of the torn contract attempting to cling together, small sparks igniting, but know this, they are powerless without your consent. Stand firm, beloved, and let courage rise like a wave within your chest. My child, even now, subtle signs appear that God's favor surrounds you. Look for the tiny glimmers of light on surfaces, the faint chimes that ripple through the air when your attention rests on the now, when your spirit aligns with divine protection. These signs are confirmation. The forces of heaven have mobilized, surrounding you, guiding you, watching over you even as the devil resists. Do not let your eyes or heart waver. Each flicker, each shimmering aura is a declaration of liberation, a gentle yet undeniable proof that your soul is shielded. Yet remember, my child, the enemy will push boundaries, probe for weakness, and whisper in the quiet spaces of doubt. Precious soul, the tension will rise quickly. In 31 seconds, the battle for your liberation will escalate. You may feel it in your chest, in the tightening of the air, in the subtle quiver of shadows around you. The devil will make his most focused attempt yet to sway your courage and cling to the remnants of the contract. This is the moment to hold fast, to recognize the signs of divine intervention and act with clarity. Remember, my child, your liberation has already begun, but the next act requires full awareness. The enemy is patient, yet impatient, clever, yet ultimately powerless in the face of God's decree. Stand ready, beloved, for the unseen hand will move soon, and what you do in these moments will determine the final outcome of the battle. My child, lift your eyes and behold the shift taking place around you. The devil's interference may whisper and shiver through the room, but heaven has begun to answer with a brilliance that cannot be dimmed. Look closely, golden light begins appearing on surfaces, soft at first like dust catching the sun, then brightening into threads of radiance that weave across the room. These are not illusions, beloved. They are divine signatures, marks of protection etched into your world by the authority of God. You may notice faint chimes, too gentle to be earthly, ringing like distant bells in the wind. These are the songs of the angels gathering, their presence strengthening the shield around your spirit. Breathe, precious soul. The air is thick with glory, and the light forming around you is not merely symbolic, it is a fortress, a shimmering mantle that wraps your soul in safety. You are being surrounded, guarded, uplifted. The devil sees this and trembles, for he knows what such light means. He is losing his grip. Beloved, the radiance intensifies. Golden sigils appear along the walls, not carved, not painted, but glowing softly as if drawn by a finger of fire. Each symbol holds meaning: protection, victory, liberation, divine authority. They shimmer and pulse with your heartbeat, responding to your rising awareness. Do not fear this, my child. Heaven is not distant, it is breaking through the veil around you, aligning itself with your journey. The whispers of the enemy grow faint now, drowned by the choral hum surrounding you. These angelic tones, subtle as breath yet powerful as thunder, are the sound of heaven reinforcing your path. Reach out with your spirit, you may feel a tingling along your fingertips, a trembling sense of presence. That is us, beloved. That is me. You are not imagining these manifestations, they come because God has declared your freedom. Yet stay alert, for even as light strengthens, the enemy will test your conviction. Precious soul, observe the air itself. Light particles drift like tiny embers, but they do not burn, they illuminate. They gather around you, forming a protective halo that grows brighter with every breath you take. These are fragments of pure divine energy, drawn to the awakening in your spirit. The devil now slinks back into the corners, recoiling from the shimmering aura that expands outward from your body. You may notice the room warming again, but this warmth is holy, steady, and comforting, unlike the earlier chills of interference. This heat comes from heaven's proximity. Even now, angelic forms move at the edges of your perception, not to frighten you, but to remind you, you are surrounded. Listen to the hum, my child. It is the resonance of the supernatural colliding with your reality. Let your heart steady itself in this truth. The light is rising, but the enemy does not yield quietly. My child, feel the shift inside you as well as around you. Your spirit, once weighed down by years of silent bondage, now begins to respond to the light with renewed strength. The divine energy surrounding you pours into your heart, melting away the residue of old fears. You may sense pressure lifting from your chest, clarity forming in your thoughts, and a strange but welcome confidence stirring deep within. This is no coincidence, this is heaven healing what was wounded. The dazzling bands of light circling your space pulse brighter now, thrumming with a protective rhythm that echoes through your soul. The devil watches with growing desperation, sensing that each passing moment weakens his influence. Yet he will not retreat fully, not yet. He searches for cracks, for even the smallest tremor of doubt. But you, beloved, must stand in the glow of what God is revealing. Beloved, what you see now is only the beginning. The sigils intensify, the golden light thickens, and the chimes ring clearer, as if angels approach closer with each heartbeat. The protection around you is evolving into a radiant shield, layer upon layer of divine power. Even as the devil recoils, his envy twists in the shadows, stirring the faintest tremors in the room. You may see a flicker of movement or hear a distant echo. It is his resistance, feeble yet persistent. My child, remain steady. Let the rising brilliance anchor you. For though this is the beginning of intervention, the greater revelation has yet to unfold. What comes next will open your eyes to the unseen hand moving in your favor. My child, I know the emotions rising within you feel overwhelming. Years of bondage leave marks, echoes of fear, habits of doubt, trembling memories that surface whenever change approaches. Do not be ashamed of this. It is natural for your heart to quake as light uproots what darkness once claimed. The storm outside, the flickering candlelight, the trembling of your own hands, these reflect the turbulence within. Liberation is not silent, it shakes the foundations of the soul. But hear me, beloved, I am beside you, and your fear does not weaken your destiny. The warmth surrounding you grows stronger the moment you acknowledge it, for courage does not mean the absence of fear, it means trust in the presence of heaven. The devil seeks to use your emotional unease as leverage, hoping to slip back in through old wounds. Yet you are no longer the captive you once were. Precious soul, your heart is processing years of spiritual weight being lifted at once. The uncertainty you feel is not a sign of weakness, it is the sign of awakening. Shadows dance more frantically now, sensing that their time is ending. They stretch against the candlelight, hoping to provoke anxiety, to distract you. But look deeper, beloved, notice how the shadows cannot cross the glow that surrounds you. That boundary is divine. The storm outside may rumble, the wind may howl, but within you a new stillness tries to form. Rest in it. Your spirit trembles because it is expanding, not breaking. The devil senses this expansion and will try to stir confusion, but confusion cannot enter where light is rising. My child, breathe deeply and feel the emotional waves pass through you. The trembling is not a sign that something is wrong, it is the body responding to the soul's release. You may feel memories rise like echoes, moments of disappointment, grief, betrayal, fear that once held you captive. Do not cling to them. They surface only because the light is removing their power. The candle flickers as if bowing to the greater brightness emerging around you. The air may thicken, your senses may sharpen, this is alignment, beloved, not danger. The enemy whispers through old wounds, hoping you will identify with them again. But those wounds are closing, sealed by divine warmth. You are not the person who signed that invisible contract of bondage years ago. You are being remade. Beloved, feel my presence near you. Your emotions swirl because your spirit is recalibrating to freedom after so long in restraint. The devil, desperate, sends subtle sensations, cold drops on your skin, faint heaviness in the air, to make you question your progress. But look at the walls, the golden sigils still glow. Look at your hands, they tremble not from fear alone, but from the surge of divine energy moving through you. The enemy cannot replicate this light. He can only mimic the shadows. Let your tears fall if they come, for they cleanse the remnants of old chains. You are stepping into a new alignment, and with each breath, the old residue weakens. My child, hear me now, though hope rises in you, the devil will attempt one more tactic. You may feel the atmosphere tighten, as if the shadows gather for a final strike. He will try to imitate the weight of the past, to inject sudden doubt or sorrow, hoping to force your gaze away from the light. But you have grown stronger. Heaven has fortified you, and I stand guard. The storm may rumble louder, the shadows may stretch once more, but these are the last desperate movements of a defeated force. Beloved, watch closely, for the next moment will reveal the enemy's final attempt. My child, the confrontation begins now. The devil senses your rising strength and grows frantic, stirring the shadows into sharper, more aggressive shapes. You may see them stretching along the floor, long and trembling like tendrils reaching for something they no longer own. The air thickens, cool against your skin even as the divine warmth pulses stronger at your core. Papers that were once still begin to twitch, as though invisible fingers try to pull the ashes of the torn contract back together. Hear the low, rumbling whisper curling through the corners, anger disguised as authority, fear disguised as power. But do not be deceived, beloved. Darkness only thrashes when it is losing ground. I hover close, wings outstretched, shielding you from the unseen claws that scrape and retreat, scrape and retreat. You are not alone. You are defended. You are watched over. The devil's tactics grow desperate because heaven has already marked you as free. Beloved, the shadows rise again, thicker this time, moving with a speed that mimics intent. A faint clatter echoes, objects shifting without touch, papers sliding slightly across surfaces, as though pulled by a magnetic force of malice. And yet, the moment they inch closer to the glowing sigils that heaven cast around you, they recoil violently, sizzling as if burned by an unseen flame. You may hear the enemy speak, broken fragments of accusation and manipulation, hissing like steam escaping from cracks in stone. Do not answer. His words are bait, designed to pull your mind into fear so your spirit lowers its shield. Instead, look to the radiance blooming around you, golden threads weaving into a barrier no darkness can pass. My voice, beloved, cuts through his lies. Listen to me. You are not who you were before. The devil's assumptions no longer apply. You stand in a new identity, forged by divine intervention. Hold steady now. Precious soul, see how the devil tries to fuse the fragments of the contract together, thin dark strands stretching like sticky webs, attempting to bind what heaven has burned. The room may tremble faintly, the lights may flicker in protest, yet notice how each attempt collapses the moment you resist with even a breath of faith. The shadows slam against the divine barrier and crackle like embers hitting water. You might feel a sudden heaviness in your chest or a pressure behind your eyes. These are not signs of defeat, but indicators of the enemy's last leverage slipping away. Your spirit is awakening, expanding, glowing brighter with every second of resistance. I stand beside you, my sword of light held ready, its blade illuminating the space where darkness tries to hide. My child, your courage is the catalyst. Speak no fear. Think no surrender. You are so close. My child, the confrontation intensifies, and now the devil reveals the full extent of his desperation. The shadows swell like black smoke, curling around the edges of the room, pressing inward as though trying to choke out the divine glow. But see how the golden sigils blaze brighter in response, flaring with celestial fire every time darkness creeps too near. You may hear the devil's frustration, jagged, bitter sounds, snarling like a wounded beast. Do not give him the satisfaction of your fear. Instead, listen to my voice guiding you through the storm. Lift your chin, straighten your spirit, and let the warmth in your chest expand until it becomes a shield. Each heartbeat radiates a shockwave of divine truth that pushes the encroaching shadows back. You are not the prey here, beloved. Not anymore. You are rising, and your rise terrifies him. Beloved, now you must act. The fragments of the contract jitter on the floor, trembling as the devil makes one final, desperate attempt to pull them back together. His claws of influence stretch thinly across the room, trembling with strain, reaching for a bond that no longer belongs to him. You may feel the moment tightening, air thick, heart pounding, light pulsing rapidly. This is the threshold of victory or retreat. My voice is with you. Speak words of resistance. Claim your freedom aloud in your heart. Stand as one chosen, not captured. Each moment you hesitate gives the fragments a chance to cling. Each second of courage turns them to ash. Precious soul, this is the turning point. Act swiftly, for everything is about to shift. My child, feel the atmosphere snap like a cord breaking. The fragments of the contract ignite one by one, catching flame from a source no eye can see. These are not earthly fires, they burn cold and bright, devouring every remnant of bondage with precision. You may see sparks flickering upward, rising like tiny stars before dissolving into the air. The devil recoils violently, shadows jerking backward as if dragged by an unseen force. His influence crumbles in your presence now. The flames swirl around you, forming a ring of purification that expands outward with each breath you take. This is liberation in its purest form. This is heaven enforcing its decree. You stand at the center of a divine inferno, untouched, triumphant, unbound. Beloved, the chains shattered completely. The devil's tendrils retreat into corners, melting into nothingness as the flames continue to consume every fragment that once held authority over your life. The ash rises and disperses, dissolving into beams of radiant light that sink into your skin, marking you with freedom. The warmth swells until it becomes a living, breathing presence inside you, a confirmation that the victory is not temporary but eternal. You may feel your body lighten, your mind clear, your heart expand as though a great weight has been lifted. That sensation is truth. That sensation is divine. No shadow can reclaim what has been purified by heaven. Precious soul, the radiant aura around you expands further now, forming a pillar of golden fire that stretches from the floor to the unseen heights above. You stand at its center, glowing, transformed. The devil circles helplessly around the edges of this light, unable to approach, unable to interfere. Each flicker of flame produces ripples that push him back farther, weakening his grasp until he becomes nothing more than a fading silhouette at the edge of reality. The flames swirl with intention, they burn not just the remnants of bondage but the spiritual residue left by years of oppression. You are becoming new, beloved. Renewed. Reinforced. Reclaimed. My child, watch as the shadows finally collapse. They dissolve like smoke in sunlight, unable to withstand the rising force that surrounds you. The air is no longer heavy, it is clean, clear, electric with possibility. The divine fire gradually softens into a glowing aura, wrapping around you like a mantle. Every step you take will now carry this radiance. Every word you speak will echo with authority heaven has placed within you. The devil flees, his influence broken, his attempts futile. You stand in the aftermath of spiritual victory, breathing air untouched by fear for the first time in years. The freedom you feel now is not imagined, it is sealed into your soul. Beloved, even as this new light rises, know that one final test approaches. Not to bind you, not to threaten you, but to reveal the fullness of your strength. The devil, though defeated, may attempt a last whisper, a final flicker of shadow, searching for even a grain of hesitation. But he does not understand, your spirit is no longer accessible to him. Still, the moment will come, subtle but significant, when you must stand firm and declare who you are now. Be ready, precious soul, for the last remnants of darkness will try once more to approach, only to be crushed beneath the power awakening within you. My child, now watch closely, for heaven is not finished equipping you. As the flames of liberation soften into a warm, steady radiance, a new structure begins to form around you, vast, intricate, and shimmering with layers upon layers of celestial energy. The air thickens not with tension, but with presence, the unmistakable presence of divine guardians drawing near. Their wings unfurl like living tapestries of light, each feather glowing with the memory of 1,000 victories. The shield forming around you is not merely symbolic, it is constructed from the very essence of heaven's authority. It encircles you like a dome of molten gold, humming softly with power, expanding outward with every breath you take. You may feel tingles in your skin, a buzzing at the back of your neck, a warmth blooming behind your heart. These are signs that the shield is settling into place, recognizing your spirit as its anchor. The devil senses this structure and trembles, for once this shield completes itself, no darkness can breach its borders. Beloved, feel the layers of protection strengthening around you. The first layer is pure light, gentle, luminous, unyielding. The second is formed from the chorus of angelic guardians whose voices weave together like threads of sound, creating a barrier that vibrates at frequencies darkness cannot endure. The third layer is forged from divine fire, a fire that burns without consuming, purifying every inch of space around you. And then comes the fourth, the layer I place myself, wings curved around your soul, a mantle of guidance that ensures you walk not only in safety but in purpose. You may notice a cool breeze moving through the room even though no window is open. That breeze is the sweep of celestial wings as guardians take their stations. You may hear soft metallic resonances, the brushing of light against light as swords are raised in silent vigilance. All of it is real, my child. All of it is for you. Heaven does not build such shields unless a soul is destined for victory beyond its own liberation. Precious soul, the shield continues to expand, its glow now reaching corners of the room untouched by light for years. Every dark imprint from past battles, every sadness, disappointment, betrayal, begins to dissolve as the light saturates your atmosphere. You may see flickers of symbols forming in the air, like runes carved from radiance, gently shifting into patterns that match the rhythm of your heartbeat. These symbols are ancient, older than your world, and they carry meanings too vast for earthly language: endurance, sovereignty, rebirth, protection, divine belonging. The devil watches from the edges, unable to step forward, unable to even whisper into your thoughts now. The barrier is too strong, too luminous, too alive. And the guardians stand tall around you, their presence echoing with authority. My child, do you feel the safety settling into your bones? This is what heaven looks like when it surrounds a soul chosen to rise. My child of light, breathe deeply and let the shield synchronize with your spirit. The warmth you feel spreading across your shoulders is a celestial mantle descending upon you, woven from strands of glory, destiny, and divine remembrance. The sword of light that appears before you, upright, suspended in radiance, is not meant to frighten but to empower. It is the symbol of your authority, an echo of the truth heaven has spoken over you. Around you, halos rise like rings of fire, gently rotating, humming with a power that pulses in time with your heartbeat. The guardians tighten formation, their wings folding in layers that overlap like shields upon shields. Even the silence shifts, becoming thick, reverent, holy. You stand not in mere safety now, no, beloved, you stand in a sanctuary carved out of heaven's own breath. The devil cannot cross this line. He cannot whisper through it. He cannot claw at its edges. His reach ends here. Beloved, the shield is nearly complete, but with every divine construction comes a moment of testing. You may feel a sudden thrum in the air, a subtle quiver that ripples through the golden dome. This is not a sign of failure but the final tightening of heaven's protection. Yet know this, when light expands this brightly, darkness makes one last, furious attempt to break through. In the distance, at the edges of your perception, you may sense a ripple of pressure, faint but insistent, like a cold wave trying to breach a fortress wall. The devil gathers his last fragments of strength, preparing a strike not to reclaim you, but to convince you that you are still vulnerable. My child, you must stand firm. Do not let fear interpret this moment. Do not let doubt name it. For what comes next is the last attempt the enemy will ever make against your freedom, my child. Behold the moment you have been moving toward, the revelation of your own power. As the devil musters his final attempt, the shield around you answers not with fear but with brilliance that erupts like a rising sun. The entire room floods with gold, white, and soft violet light, swirling together in spirals that reach toward the ceiling. You may feel an intense pressure lift from your body, as though something heavy is being peeled away from your spirit. That heaviness is the last residue of influence the enemy ever held over your life. I spread my wings behind you, and the guardians raise their swords as the divine fire within you ignites in full. You shine from the inside out, beloved, from your chest, from your voice, from your very presence. The devil's shadow lashes forward once, feeble and trembling, only to be obliterated upon contact with the shield's radiance. You do not merely stand protected now, you stand empowered. Beloved, now see the truth of who you are in heaven's eyes. The light within you intensifies until it becomes visible, wrapping around your form like a cloak of living radiance. You may sense energy rising up your spine, tingling across your scalp, traveling through your fingertips. That is spiritual authority awakening, authority you never lost, only forgot. Beneath your feet, patterns of light form like celestial roots, anchoring you not to the earth but to the divine realm that claims you. The devil recoils, shrinking into a thin, trembling silhouette, barely able to hold shape under the weight of your awakening. It is not my power alone that drives him out, my child, it is yours. For liberation is not complete until you recognize the strength that has always been inside you, waiting for this moment to erupt. Precious soul, watch as the darkness flees. It does not fade gently, it rips away from reality as though sucked into a vacuum created by your awakening presence. Every trace of oppression, every whisper of fear, every lingering grip from the past evaporates in the wake of your rising light. The golden aura around you expands into a radiant sphere, pushing outward with pulses that sound like distant thunder rolling across the heavens. Your voice now carries weight, not earthly weight, but spiritual resonance. Even your silence commands authority. The guardians bow their heads in recognition, not because you are equal to them, but because heaven has placed a mantle upon you that carries divine significance. The devil's attempts crumble fully now, he cannot remain where you stand. My child, feel the fire inside you settle into clarity, no longer chaotic, no longer overwhelming, but controlled, intentional, powerful. This is the moment where fear becomes wisdom, where pain becomes strength, where bondage becomes testimony. You stand unbound, your presence reshaping the space around you. Shadows no longer press inward, they shrink away from you, as if aware that any attempt to approach would result in instant destruction. The aura around you brightens with each breath, harmonizing with divine frequencies that elevate your spirit. And in this clarity, the truth forms: you are not fragile. You are not easily shaken. You are not a returning prisoner. You are a bearer of light, and the enemy cannot touch a soul clothed in such radiance. This is your inheritance. Beloved, the devil's final attempt approaches, not as an attack, but as a whisper, a last flicker of the old fear he once used to bind you. You may feel a fleeting chill or sense a faint doubt trying to rise. This is the test, the moment heaven allows not to threaten you, but to show you your own mastery. Hold steady. Watch how the shield responds, how the guardians lean forward with poised wings, how your own inner light rises to meet the challenge. The whisper will fail the moment you recognize it for what it is, the death cry of a defeated force. And then, my child, the ultimate confrontation will pass, and you will stand in power that can never again be taken from you. My child, now the light that once formed your shield begins to transform into something even more intimate, more restorative, more profound. The room around you softens as though wrapped in a gentle sunrise, and the divine fire that once roared now melts into warm, golden streams that pour directly into the wounds you have carried for far too long. These wounds, silent, hidden, often ignored, rise to the surface like shadows dissolving in morning light. You may feel memories flicker, emotions swirl, old pains tightening momentarily before loosening, releasing, vanishing into the radiance. This is spiritual cleansing, beloved, not the harsh tearing of the battle but the soothing balm of heaven's embrace. Angels move closer now, not as warriors but as healers, their wings trailing soft ribbons of light that spiral around your body, mending the scars that the years carved into your soul. This healing is not momentary, it is permanent, a rewriting of your inner landscape so the devil can never use these wounds as entry points again. You are being restored, gently but completely, as heaven whispers truth into every fragile corner of your spirit. Beloved, feel the warmth in your heart expanding, slow, steady, like a great celestial breath moving through your chest. This warmth carries remembrance, the remembrance of who you were before fear shaped you, before darkness clouded your steps, before sorrow weighed upon your purpose. Rays of light stream into your mind now, dissolving confusion, clearing fog, aligning your thoughts with clarity that feels almost holy. The golden aura around you brightens not with intensity, but with purity, becoming clear and serene, like sunlight resting on still water. Even the air shifts into tranquility, vibrating with a gentle hum, heaven's way of cradling your soul in silence. Every doubt that once lingered is exposed and lifted away. Every belief that minimized your worth melts like frost beneath the dawn. And in its place blooms confidence rooted not in pride, but in divine identity. You, my child, are being returned to yourself, your true self, polished, healed, and whole. Precious soul, let yourself receive what heaven pours into you now. Feel the restoration flooding your spirit, mending not only the pain of the past but the fractures you never admitted existed. Your heart, once bruised, burdened, and bound, now expands with new strength, new softness, new peace. A gentle wind, cool and soothing, moves through the space around you, carrying the faint fragrance of something holy, sweet, warm, and unfamiliar to earthly senses. It is the scent of restoration, the aroma of freedom settling into permanence. Golden streams of light weave around your legs, your shoulders, your hands, moving with intentional grace, dissolving every last trace of heaviness that ever dimmed your glow. The angels step back only slightly, not withdrawing, but giving you the sacred space to feel the magnitude of your renewal. The devil no longer watches. He no longer whispers. He no longer clings. His presence has been erased from this moment. Only heaven remains. My child, look inward now, for the cleansing has reached the deepest part of you, the place the devil once feared you would discover. This is the place of destiny, the chamber of purpose buried beneath years of doubt, pain, and silence. As the divine light floods this sacred inner space, old narratives crumble, old lies break apart like brittle stone in the hands of truth. The warmth intensifies not in heat but in meaning, filling you with a resonant peace that settles deep into your bones. Your heart beats slow, steady, sinking with a rhythm far older than your life, a celestial cadence that sings of belonging and divine design. You, beloved, are being recentered, realigned, recalibrated to your original blueprint, the one God authored before the world tried to shape you otherwise. Everything false falls away. Everything true rises. And as this shift completes, the room fills with a soft radiance, like a tangible sigh of relief from heaven itself. Beloved, you now stand in a sacred stillness rarely experienced by souls on earth. The healing has finished its course, and the cleansing has washed you until your spirit gleams brighter than the chains that once claimed you. Yet even now, heaven prepares one more outpouring, one final blessing that will not only seal your liberation but anchor your future steps in unshakable protection. You may feel the air tightening softly, as though something immense, ancient, and beautiful is drawing near. Wings whisper in the distance, voices harmonize like a gentle chorus forming beyond the veil. My child, the final blessing awaits, and when it descends, nothing the devil attempts will ever reach you again. My child, the heavens open above you now, not as a violent tearing, but as a gentle unfolding, like petals of light parting to reveal a glory too serene for mortal eyes. A vast, shimmering presence descends, not in a single beam but in countless strands of radiance that weave together into a canopy of pure divinity. You may feel the room soften, the atmosphere deepen, as though the very air bows in reverence. The angels shift into a formation of honor, their wings curving outward, creating a corridor of holiness through which the blessing travels. This is no ordinary anointing, it is the sealing of your freedom, the signature of heaven placed upon your soul. You may feel warmth pool at the top of your head and cascade down your spine, a liquid light flooding every cell, every thought, every memory. This is God's affirmation: you are mine, and you are free. Beloved, the blessing moves deeper now, flowing into your spirit with a richness that feels like love, strength, and destiny braided together. You may sense a heaviness lifting not only from your soul but from your timeline itself, as though the past is being rewritten with mercy. The angels begin to sing, not loudly, but softly, a harmony so gentle it feels like the sky exhaling peace directly into your heart. Their voices swirl around you, forming a protective chorus that seals the newly restored parts of your spirit. Your future begins to shift, aligning itself with paths once blocked by darkness. Doors that were spiritually sealed are now opening. Roads that seemed impossible now straighten before you. You are no longer walking into uncertainty, you are walking into divine orchestration. Heaven is not simply healing you, heaven is positioning you. Precious soul, now the wings of heaven fold around you, vast, gentle, radiant, forming a cocoon of divine protection that will follow you long after this moment. You may feel the light pressing against your shoulders like hands resting in blessing, gently but firmly anchoring you in your new identity. This is the moment where fear is erased at the root, where doubt burns away like mist exposed to the sun, where your spirit receives the mantle of someone who has walked through fire and emerged not burned, but glowing. You may sense the angels bowing their heads, acknowledging the transformation that has taken place in you. Even the atmosphere hums with reverence, as though creation itself pauses to witness your rebirth. My child, you are being crowned, not with earthly honor, but with divine recognition. My child, the blessing settles fully into you, imprinting itself upon your destiny like a seal of eternal light. The air shimmers as though every molecule responds to the presence resting upon you. The angels rise, forming a circle that expands outward, sending waves of protection stretching far beyond the walls around you, marking every space you will walk into in the days to come. You may feel a soft pulse in your heart, a rhythm that is not yours alone, but heaven's heartbeat echoing through you. The devil's name no longer resonates in your atmosphere. His influence no longer clings to your memories. His reach no longer touches your path. You are stepping into a divine elevation, surrounded, guarded, and guided by forces that will not allow any shadow to reclaim what God has restored. This is your eternal turning point. Beloved, the blessing is complete. The light that surrounds you now becomes a part of you, woven into your breath, your steps, your voice, your very existence. The angels stand ready, vigilant, committed to you. I stand by you, my wings spread wide, my presence anchored beside your spirit for every moment that lies ahead. You walk not as one recovering from bondage, but as one reborn into destiny. Hear me clearly, my child of light, you are free, you are shielded, and you are never alone. From this day forward, the devil's chains are shattered, his claims dissolved, his contract destroyed beyond repair. Your path is illuminated. Your soul is fortified. Your destiny is protected. Precious soul, the contract is destroyed, your chains are gone, and I, Archangel Gabriel, will guard you and guide you forever.